Hey folks, Lever here once again. Welcome back to another review. I'm sorry that I had to do two parts for Spider-Man Homecoming when I reviewed that, but and I hope I didn't remember my two parts of that, but I'm sorry, but my camera just turned off, so hopefully my webcam does not turn off in this review. And guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Levi McNally, and the channel is Levi McNally 93 with a mask profile picture on it. Now, I do have another YouTube channel, but this is my new channel, so stick to this channel. You can watch videos on my older channel, but stay subscribed. Thank you guys for 232 subs. Keep on subscribing, and feel free to share my channel. Feel free to share my videos as much as you want. I do appreciate the support. That's what it's all about here on YouTube. I won't mind sharing videos with my friends or sharing, people's videos as well. You know, just to show support for their channel. Help them gain more subscribers and do the same for me as well. It's just all about being supportive and respecting opinions and stuff. That's what my channel is about. Everything I say is 100% purely my opinion. Now, people might disagree with me on this movie, but this is welcome back to the 2010s era superhero reviews. That's what I've been doing, guys. Superhero marathon. What I call the 2010 superheroes era reviews. Um, these movies that came out in 2010 decades, 2010 to 2019, and I'm only year 2017. I have only two more movies to go. I did review Batman and Harley Quinn, Batman vs. Two-Face. It is on my superhero reviews playlist and my DC reviews and Batman reviews. If you want to know my thoughts on those movies, Adam West, this was 2017 was the year that he passed away, so that movie was a tribute for him. That was Burt Ward and Drew Miller coming back doing the voices of Robin and Catwoman as well. That was an entertaining movie. So it was Batman and Harley Quinn. Not perfect, but I liked Batman and Harley Quinn. The animation reminded me of the 90s animated show. But anyway, if you want to know my thoughts and opinion on those movies, I reviewed them. Just check it out. But anyway, this is a sequel. This is a 2017 superhero. It's a sequel to Thor, the first movie, and the Thor: The Dark World. This is the third Thor movie, third installment, if you will. And this is where the franchise takes a completely direction, really different direction. Like this is the 17th film in the MCU. For a third movie, like I love Batman Forever. Maybe Val Kilmer, rest in peace. I want to do a video about him probably tonight or tomorrow sometime. But yeah, I miss Val Kilmer. I'll get to that video probably. I'm playing a tribute video for him. Anyway, yeah, Batman Forever, Superman 3, those are underrated third movies in my opinion. And this film is underrated as well. I enjoyed this. This is probably my favorite Thor movie. I know a lot of people don't like this movie. A lot of people probably are mixed on it. But I don't lump it in with Thor Love and Thunder. I don't like that movie. But that is, I'm talking about Thor Ragnarok, which I did enjoy. I like the slight change of tone. The first one, it was darker with the character. He was more serious, more about war and arrogant. But then as the movies go on, Thor, he's still more serious, but he does become more of a humorous character. And in here, Thor can be funny, not turn into a joke, but Thor can be a funny character. Yeah. And then of course we have Hulk in this movie as well, and Loki coming back to house, and that was great. And I like the villainous Helga in it, but let's get to the history of the movie, how it came to be. Please do not shut off webcam. Yeah. For the production. While promoting the release of Thor: The Dark World, Chris Hemsworth expressed willing to betray Thor for as long as people wanted more. Adding that he was contracted for another Thor film and two more Avengers movie. Of course, he did Avengers of Ultron, and this movie takes place events after that. Remember, he was not, him and Hulk, him and Mark Ruffalo were not Captain America Civil War. So, producer Kevin Feige stated that the next Thor will be built from elements at the end of Thor's Dark World. In June 2014, Marvel announced that Craig Kyle and Christopher Yost would write the screenplay for a third film, with Feige again producing. The story was being outlined that July. At the end of October 2014, sorry if I'm moving around too much, Feige announced that the film will be titled Thor Ragnarok, which was a scheduled release date of July 28, 2017. Hemsworth and Tom Hiddleston were set to return as Thor and Loki. Hemsworth earned $15 million just for being in this movie. Feige added that the film would be very important, and again, he had a contract with Marvel, so he probably had to come back because he intended to be Thor again, so he probably signed a contract. He had to, or they could have sued him if he even refused, which I know he didn't because I think he loves playing Thor. You can just tell he does. Let's confirm that in the context of the film, Ragnarok means the end of all things. Basically, the Thor Ragnarok, and it's like for Asgardian, it's like the end of the world, basically. End times. Yeah. But that people will not read that title along with what the movie's going to be. In February 2015, Marvel pushed back the release date to November 3rd, 2017, which it did come out in November. I'm sorry about the quality here. It does that. That April, Feige was expected to draft for the film soon. A month later, he stated that a director Screenwriter and further casting announcements will be revealed. With Thor: The Dark World, director Alan Taylor explained he would not be returning, as the Marvel experience was particularly wrenching because I was sort of given freedom while we were shooting, and then in post production, it turned into a different movie. So that is something I hope never to repeat and don't wish upon anybody to release. Jim Alexander said that she was by herself in a very part of the movie, but they don't really give her nothing to do. Yeah. Taki Waka as an interrogation to direct the movie. Directors on credits include Ruben Fischer, Robin Thurman, Russell Marshall, Elizabeth Banks. They were expressed interest in presenting a pitch for the film. Elizabeth Banks, the same actress who was in the Spider-Man films, and of course was the same year that came out where she played Rita Repulsa in the Power Rangers 2017 film. Marvel presented the prospective directors with the 10 different ideas that they have for the movie, asking them, I'm sorry for the quality, guys, you come back with a clear picture of what the film should be. Right? Why created a sizzle reel for the tone and some joke stuff, using clips from other films like including Big Trouble in Little China. Despite being a discouraged practice with the company, Marvel considered his reel to be amazing. So I guess they wanted to go more human because the first two movies they were a bit darker, a little more serious. So I mean, not saying they didn't have comedy, and they did, but they did have a bit, especially Thor: Dark World. So I guess they wanted to lighten up, which is fine. They wanted to change the tone of it a little bit. They used the immigrant song for the score semblance, which I like. Which I think it's that song. You know. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to get the. Which Fish felt denied what Tarky was going to do with this. The song was later used in the film itself in marketing, why he decided to pursue directing the film after stating in 2012 that he had no idea and big futures. The art of the project was sacrificed for profit. What he said, he felt like a guest in Marvel's universe, but with the creative freedom to do what I want from his read the film by multiple news outlets. The same as Mark Ruffalo was also finally a deal to inspire his role as Bruce Banner Hulk, which he confirmed shortly after. It was, of course, after the events of Avengers Age of Ultron, traveling in Quinlan, which was originally planned to be shown, Planet Hulk basically, flying near Saturn. He just explained that this was changed to an Earth-based location to leave Hulk's fate, and rumors that a film based on the 2006 storyline was Planet Hulk was in development, since Marvel Studios had no plans to adapt the storyline at the time. According to executive producer Brad Warner, the idea to include Hulk in Ragnarok came early in development. The production team looked at the Planet Hulk storyline, and it was a no-brainer to Hulk in the Thor franchise. One, the idea of a planet where there's games as Thor predicament was a really cool idea. Beach further explained that the intentional discussions had focused on doing something totally different with Thor, and that ideas for Hela, Valkyrie, Battle of the Brave, and Beta Ray Bill were like, we need something big. The intentional discussion they're going to space and jokingly call it Planet Thor, was said to Hulk reveal that he went to space at the end of Age of Ultron. In October, Minister for Foreign Affairs film will take place in the country. At the end of virtual, Skellen Skivard, who portrayed Eric Silver in Thor and Thor: Dark World and the Avengers, said that he was contracted to appear should Marvel want to include him. Uh, yeah, but he was uncertain at the time if they did. Later confirmed that he would appear in Ragnarok. Kate Blanchett entered negotiations to join the cast. Tanaka, who directed the film, and of course Thor: Love and Thunder. Like I said, I'll get Thor: Love and Thunder eventually, but that won't be to the 2020 superhero review. So we're just focused on Ragnarok right now. With the film beginning pre-production, Ruffalo described it as a road movie. The Disney filming would take place in Sydney. Whitey stated that he was working on a script, with Eric Pearson joining the project to rewrite the screenplay. Pearson that joined presenting many challenges as there was so many puzzle pieces already there. Showing the role a month later, selling Hope, Valkyrie, and Scourge that he was asked to assemble. Pearson. As understanding early March that she was no longer sure she would appear in the film due to scheduling conflicts with the television series Blind Spot. She later said that this may not be the case, but ultimately she was unable to appear in the film due to the conflict. Sif does appear as a character in the play on the events of Thor: The Dark World, portrayed by another actress though. Natalie Portman did not return to play Jane Foster. Marvel never asked for the screenwriters to include the Earth characters from the previous films. It featured that Foster and Thor had broken up between films. In May, Marvel confirmed Blanchett and Thompson for the film. Jeff Goldblum became cast as Grandmaster, Carl Urban as Scourge, and Idris Elba and Anthony Hopkins came back as Heimdall and Odin. Before the set for Marvel Doctor Strange were demolished, they wrote and filmed a scene for Ragnarok where Thor meets Stephen Strange, Marvel and Doctor Strange director, felt the scene was kind of perfect to show Strange throwing the water MCU. If you remember the end of Doctor Strange 2016, the credit scene, post-credit scene, Thor is talking about his brother Loki with him while he's giving Thor a beer. Y'all get to that scene. But if you've seen Doctor Strange, then post-credit scene, you've seen that. I'm sorry, guys. I'm just saying to make quality better. Uh, Please know that Ragnarok probably take place in the cosmos rather than on Earth. Apart from previous Thor films, there are a lot of different planets outside the nine realms that we visit in the film. What is said that the planet Scar was featured in the Planet Hulk storyline. The biggest shift of the film and these characters is a tool of the universe, surrounded by wormholes that have been splitting ends out in space for eons. What is said the film, we're moving at the franchise a lot of what we're doing with the film, kind of in ways dismantling and destroying the old idea and rebuilding it in a new way that's fresh. Everyone's got a slightly new take on their characters, so that way it feels like first Thor. They added that the scene the other film was respected them, but they wanted to focus on making a standalone film because this could be the only time I do this. They just want to make their version of Marvel film in the best way. This is something Hemsworth had hoped for, looking to give a lighter tone to Ragnarok compared to the previous Thor films, especially the second one, similar to Guardians of the Galaxy. Where we had less of the sort of nativity or fun or humor that was first Thor might have had. We've done Shakespeare and we've shown that. It's not time to go, okay, cool, let's try something different. Hemsworth continued in order to prevent the character of the film becoming predictable. And I get it, they wanted to give it a lighter tone, which is fine. The events of Ragnarok are set 4 years of the events of the Dark World and 2 years of the events of Age of Ultron, and around the same time as the events of Civil War and Spider-Man: Homecoming. With none that this happens on top. Filming Filming began on July 4, 2016, on the title Creature Report. They shot some of the films in Tampa National Park, the Central Brisbane Central Business, and some shots in New York City. The film's based off comedy nature. What is said that the script had changed then. It was still unclear what the final film would look like, but there's our buddy elements to it between Thor and the Hulk. He says it's 70s, 80s sci-fi fantasy, and most out there of all the Marvel movies, with the tone of like Big Trouble in Little China, which that's an action movie that has comedy in it. That was taking inspiration from 48 Hours and Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. You kind of like Flash Gordon in a bit. Sets constructed for the film were for Sekar, including the Grandmaster's Palace and Junkyard, as well as Asgard. The interior of the Avengers in Quint, which was built for the Avengers, was shipped to Australia. Just reading here. It was revealed that Parson will receive sole screen credit on the film, with story credit to Kyle, Yost, and Folsom. Rachel House says she had small role before she had worked with Waddy before. Filming took place in Atlanta, Georgia, in July 2017, over 3 weeks. One of these introductions is Spaceship Sanctuary 2, which belongs to Thanos and Avengers Infinity War. Features the Goldblum and Waddy improvised multiple versions of the later scene. Version involved the singing of the national anthem, which was made up on the spot. Also, sequence in Atlanta, filmed in Atlanta, was the completion of the sequence where Asgardian actors performed play based on the Thor: The Dark World. Where Brother Luke portrayed. Sam Neill appears in the sequence as the Odin actor, and Hemsworth's brother is Luke, portrays the Thor actor. Matt Damon also. Damon was in New York City at the time, and they flew in just to shoot the cameo on the Lark. Visual effects. ILM to some of the visual effects of the movie, which I think the effects are real beautiful in this movie, and I'll get to that later. Yeah. But for the music score, Martin Mothersbaugh was hired to write the score film. For the marketing, I don't remember too much more, but I do remember the trailers for this movie and teaser where Thor was getting ready to fight Hulk in the arena, and Thor was like, "Yeah, yes," screaming that yes. And they did have toys for Thor and Hulk as well. Thor's hammer as a toy. And I'm sure there were toys sold out for the movie at the time. And you had the TV spots, and I'm guessing maybe a Super Bowl trailer as well. But the movie did have quite. I don't remember that much marketing. I don't think no food places, but they did probably have toys out for the movie. And you had the trailer and stuff, and the posters. I thought the poster I thought was cool as well. All right, for the cast of the movie, yeah, you have Chris Hemsworth comes back as Thor and Avengers of the Crown Prince of Asgard, based on the Norse mythology of the same name, who's been searching for the Infinity Stones. With Chris Hemsworth, of course, he's played Thor in the first since 2011, Thor in the Avengers, Thor: The Dark World in 2013, and the last time we saw him as Thor was in Avengers: Age of Ultron. Yeah, yeah, because remember he was not in Captain America: Civil War. Oh, guys, I'm sorry. Okay, for some reason we're back to good. Okay, maybe just messing with the lighting of the video of the webcam. Yeah, but any Chris Hemsworth, and he did go on to appear in Infinity War and Endgame, and of course, Thor: Love and Blunder, which I don't care for that movie. Uh, he was in Men in Black International with Teresa Thompson, who is in this movie, and I hated that film. That is the worst Men in Black film, in my opinion. You might think it's Men in Black 2. No, Men in Black 2 is way better, but anyway. Chris Hemsworth, once again, did a good job. Tom Hiddleston comes back as Loki, closes out the brother and Nemesis. Of course, last time we saw him, he was in Thor 2011, The Avengers, and Thor: The Dark World. That was in 2013, last time we saw him, when he put Thor in well, you'll find out what he did to Odin, and that he took over as king. Yeah. Kate Blanchett, Tom Hiddleston, he was in a few movies. He was in Kong Skull Island, which came out the same year. That's definitely an underrated movie, in my opinion. He was in Midnight in Paris, Kong Skull Island, and of course in Infinity War and Endgame, and the TV show Loki. Kate Blanchett is Hela, the older Thor's older sister and the goddess of death, based on the Divinity Hell. But Kate Blanchett, the only thing I think of is Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of Crystal Skull. I love that movie. That movie, I like that movie more than this, but that movie is definitely really underrated in my opinion. I know she was in the Cinderella remake, but I thought she did great. She was definitely better than Malachi in the second movie. Idris Elba as Hondo, the all-seeing, all-hearing Asgardian, former he went into exile during Loki's reign. Yeah, Idris Elba, of course, he was in the first Thor movie, Thor: The Dark World. He's been in a lot of them. Jungle Book, he voiced Shere Khan. And superhero, he was in a movie called Obsessed with Beyonce. Hobbs and Shaw playing the villain, The Dark Tower, which came out the same year. I heard that movie sucked. Star Trek Beyond, which came out in 2016. He voiced Knuckles in Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and I believe Sonic the Hedgehog 3. He also was in Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance. Yeah, terrible movie. But Jeff Goldblum as Grandmaster, one of the elders of the universe, which I like Jeff Goldblum. He was in the movies like The Fly, and of course you should know him in Jurassic Park as Ian Malcolm. Uh, Hi. You're supposed to have dinosaurs on your tour? Can you hear me in there? If you've seen the movie. And of course The Lost World, and had a cameo in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom and Jurassic World Domain, which I have not seen. And Independence Day, he was good in that. But I especially like him in The Fly. He really gave a good performance. I love Jeff Goldblum as an actor. I think he's a great actor, one of the best, in my opinion. I really like that they put him in this movie. Tessa Thompson as Valkyrie, a tough, hard-drinking escort and slave trader. Yeah, I think she's a beautiful woman. Yeah, yeah. She did come back in, I think, in Infinity War and Endgame. Let's see. No, just Endgame. But she did play with in a movie, like I said, Agent M and Men in Black International. Yeah, and she was in Thor: Love and Thunder. Yeah, that film was terrible. And I think she's also in the Creed movies. Yeah, yeah. And Carl Urban as Scourge, and as Garen Warrior. Carl Urban, I still haven't seen the movie Dread. I have it, but I need to watch it. I heard that movie was awesome. He was in the Star Trek reboots. He was in Lord of the Rings. Uh, yeah, Star Trek reboot from 2009 into and then Star Trek Into Darkness and Beyond, Star Trek Beyond. Yeah, but I really need to see Dread because I heard that was a good movie. Mark Ruffalo as Bruce Banner Hulk. He's an adventure gene scientist who transforms into a monster when enraged after being exposed to gamma radiation. Mark Ruffalo, other movies. Yeah, he was in Spotlight. I remember him in that. Uh, 13 going on 30. And of course, he's been the Avengers was his first time being playing the character, and he had a cameo in Iron Man 3. This movie, Infinity War, and Endgame, and Captain America, Captain Marvel, I guess, and Endgame, Shang-Chi. Yeah, Zodiac. I think he was in that movie with Robert Downey Jr. That's before the Avengers, but he was in a movie with Reese Witherspoon. I forget what it was called. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. I remember him in that 13 going on 30. Yes, Collateral. I remember him in that movie with Tom Cruise and Jamie Foxx. Now you see me, just like heaven. Okay, yeah, okay. I remember that movie. Anthony Hopkins as Odin, the King of Asgard, Father of Thor, and I think Hopkins, he played Odin, of course, in Thor and Thor: The Dark World. And speaking of other movies, probably should know him as Hannibal Lecter, The Silence of the Lambs, and some of the sequels. The Edge, I love The Edge. That's a good movie. The Mask of Zorro, if you want to call that a superhero movie, I do. It's a swashbuckler film, but I kind of always consider it like a superhero movie. You know, passing on the torch kind of movie. That was a good movie that he did with Antonio Banderas. Xavier Levi, the late Ray Stevenson, uh, who also was the Punisher in Warzone, which I didn't care for that movie. But he was also in the Thor and Thor: Dark World, I believe. Xavier Levi reprised his role, but just for a short time. And Xavier Levi, was also going to play Shazam. You know, yeah. Luke Hemsworth's brother Chris plays the Thor actor. Yeah, and Stan Lee has a cameo as well. All right, anyway, for the other crew members who worked on the movie, let's see. Directed by Taika Waititi. I know he's worked with Ryan Reynolds before. Of course, I know a lot of people don't. Come on, I know he's acted in some movies too. Yeah, he did direct Thor: Love and Thunder, which I didn't care for. Yeah, of course, he was in Green Lantern. I remember him in that. I like that movie, Ryan Reynolds to me. I still think that movie's better than Thor: Love and Thunder. It's not the worst superhero movie ever, no. Yeah, he was a Free Guy with, yeah, and the Suicide Squad as an actor. Eric Pearson wrote the script. He wrote the script for, again, I can give him, I do like the Ragnarok. Well, he's uncredited, but he wrote some scripts for, rewrites only for Ant-Man, Spider-Man Homecoming, Agent Carter. I didn't care for that show, but that's just me. This movie, Avengers Infinity War, Endgame, but he's uncredited. And Black Widow, which, honestly, Black Widow, didn't care for Black Widow too much, but I did like Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. Wasn't perfect, but I liked it. And, and I'm not so sure about Thunderbolts and the Fantastic Four First Steps movies. Yeah. Because I'm sorry, Black Widow was lame, so his writing for those movies, I don't have any faith in. Yeah. Greg Kyle, who also was an executive producer on Thor and Thor: The Dark World, and also wrote the script for Thor. Yeah. He also worked on some animated Marvel movies as Ultimate Avengers the movie, Ultimate Avengers 2, The Invincible Iron Man, Doctor Strange, Sorcerer Supreme, Hulk vs. Thor and Wolverine, Next Avengers Heroes Tomorrow, Thor Tales of Asgard, and Planet Hulk. So, Christopher Yost, who's also worked on some of the Marvel animated movies too, like Hulk vs. Thor and Wolverine, This Avengers Here Tomorrow, Thor: Dark World, Max Steel. Oh God, that was an awful movie. Secret Headquarters, which I haven't seen. I'm betting I won't like that movie. And he's working on some cartoon, some Marvel and DC animation. It's based on Thor, created by Stan Lee, Larry Lieber, and Jack Kirby, produced by Kevin Feige, who has been producing this movie since the first Iron Man movie. So, pretty much all the MCU movies. And he continues to do so. Cinematography is by Javier Akbu. I can't say the name right. I'm sorry. Yeah. Uh, again, edited by Joel Nigert. I'm sorry, Joel Nigren, I'm sorry. And Zena Baker, I completely butchered that name. For the films like George Washington, Shanghai Kiss, uh, Five, never seen it, This is the End, Neighbors, The Interview, Neighbors 1 and Neighbors 2, Men in Black International, WandaVision, and She-Hulk Eternal Law, which I hated. Men in Black International, She-Hulk. And I haven't seen, yeah. I haven't seen, whatever the hell it is I was gonna say, whatever. But music by Mark Mothersbaugh. Let's see. Who's doing music scores for films like Zoo Shark, Cross Returns, let's see. Can't find too many. Minecraft movie, cartoons, production companies Marvel Studios, distributed by Walt Disney Studios Motion Pictures. It was released November 3rd, 2017, here in the United States. It is 130 minutes long, about 2 hours and 10 minutes. The budget was $180 million. The box office made $855 million worldwide. Yeah. The film did receive praise for its acting and watch direction, as well as the action sequences, visual effects, music, and humor. Many critics consider it to be the best installment of Thor franchise. Wow. I'm actually agreeing with that. I probably would say this is the best Thor franchise because I do like it being a lighter tone. You know, I always think Thor should be a funny character. I'm not saying you need to make him a joke, but you know, with this it was fine. But yeah, I would say it's probably the best Thor movie, but it does have some issues. Anyway, let me get to the plot synopsis, then we'll talk about the movie itself, maybe some quotes, and give my final opinion. Hopefully, webcam do not shut down. Please do not keep my mouse down. The mouse down here. Talking about for the plot for Thor Ragnarok, and there will be spoilers in here. So if you have not seen Thor Ragnarok, turn this video off right now. Always read the description box below in these videos. Always remember to click the bell though if you want to see me do reviews. If you want to see me watch the review, appreciate it. But if you haven't seen the movie, I'm warning you just this one time now. There will be spoilers in this review. Alright, so don't. Alright, anyway. The plot synopsis, though, is that imprisoned on the other side of the universe, after the eventual Avengers Invasion on Thor, he's been searching for the Infinity Stones. He's been fighting. He's been going around realms, and he's just, being a good hero. He's the good hero. That's what he's the good guy, and just doing what he's doing best, fighting a war. You know. Well, and meanwhile, though, Thor finds himself in a deadly contest that pits him against his former ally and fellow Avenger, Banner, Hulk. Thor's quest for survival leads him in a race against time to prevent the all-powerful his sister Hela, who is a sister. She had a history with Odin, and she's back to take over Asgard, and she's going to do some dangerous stuff. She's a killer, a murderer, or she's the god of death. She wants to destroy his homeworld and the Asgardian civilization. So Thor, along with Valkyrie and his brother Loki, along with his Avenger ally Hulk, aka Bruce Banner, uh, he must team up, and Thor must stop them, and he must save Asgardian, and he must save his people, and become the Asgardian king that he's meant to be for his future. And they must save the day. So yeah, and that's the plot of the movie in a nutshell. Like I said, there will be spoilers because I'm not getting this plot synopsis. Now, before I get to talking into the movie, please do not watch this review if you have not seen this movie, folks. I'm only saying that because I don't want you to be upset. Me telling you about the movie. But if you've seen the film, you already know it. So, yeah. And again, this is my opinion on the film. You're welcome to disagree with me. I do want to say, I would say it's the best Thor movie. Probably my favorite Thor movie. But I do have my issues with it. It's not a completely perfect movie. Mm-mm. Far from it. But anyway, I'll talk about the movie itself. The movie we get with the opening. The movie opens with the Marvel Studio title, which I always liked, with the Black Panther, Captain America. Dun, 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 I just love that opening logo. And Thor has been captured by this Maleficent character who rumbles toward a skeleton sharing his cage. And Thor's like, I bet you haven't seen me in a long time. Bet you wonder why Thor? Oh, captured. And if he's in Marvel's Earth, he's trying to find some of the Finding Stones that he had set up to locate. If you remember Age of Ultron, he saw the future, what was going to happen. Yeah. He knows that he had to get captured and get a straight answer of someone. Being Sotor, Sotor releases Thor from his cage, and his goal is that he wants to create Ragnarok, which is like the end of the world. He wants to destroy Ragnarok. And Thor told him, once I destroy Ragnarok, and Thor's like, well, wait, I can't hear you. I'm captured here. And Thor's making jokes. And I like Thor being funny and telling jokes and messing with him. To join his crowd, Thor just teases him. And Thor's like, I'm not, Thor just taunts him and teases him and jokes with him. But to call, his hammer, and, you get this song, Thor's like beating some asses. He's kicking some of these monsters' asses, which is awesome. He's trying to say, Heimdall, and it's not Hunter Scar Urban who has got these machine guns. He's like, I'm trying to press these ladies. This is my gun tier. Yeah, I'm not talking about his muscles, but he has machine guns. Heimdall does not respond because Heimdall has been replaced because Thor the Dark World, he betrayed his king, betrayed Odin, so Odin banished him from that role. But Scourge doesn't know Skull because he's trying to press these women. But eventually, Thor's able to get his attention. Like, they're like, Scourge, is they trying to call you? And he realizes he just opened the gate. And Thor is like improvising. He's fighting. He's got this big monster out of him that's chasing him. Yeah, yeah. Well, Heimdall's been on the run actually, hiding. But anyway, uh, the rainbow button works. He's able to get back to Asgard, but with the head of the monster, and it gets on the women like ah. And Carbon's like, I got to announce you, Thor. And Thor's like, just ignores him and flies off. And he sees his play with Sam Neill and Matt Damon. When we saw Thor: Dark World, Loki's death, and Odin just sitting there, which is Loki in disguise, by the way, just eating some grapes. Yes. And you have a big statue of him, and they're making a play. And Thor's like, Thor's suspicious of what's going on. And of course, Thor knows right away that it's Loki. He's like, "Oh, father, you've been busy." And then I like when Loki and Odin's like, he's like, shit, because he's back. He's like, father, I got the head, his Thor's got, a piece of the head of Surtur, the big enemy that wants to destroy, called Ragnarok, and this can stop him if they put it in their chambers, in Asgardian chambers. And Thor tells him, brother, I know it's you. You just sit here and you play around all day. Why, you're being a coward. He's like, well, I just want to cause peace. No reason to fight. Just relax. And Thor, Loki just didn't care. But Thor was able to get him back, and it was like, hey, now where did you put Father? Did you kill him? He's like, no, I didn't kill him. I put him somewhere. It goes in Odin's vote. It's Odin's crown. they transport to Loki to find the real Odin. Unfortunately, upon arrival, and he put him in the Shady Acres home, which is a retirement home for old folks. And they're tearing it down. And like, where is it? Well, I didn't drop my off here. Some girl's gonna take pictures with Thor. And Loki's like, of course, brother, you love the attention. And all of a sudden, Doctor Strange has the portal, and Loki's falls for like 30 minutes. And Thor goes to knock on the door, gets the address, and he meets Doctor Strange. Starts as wizard now. Well, we have mystical magic arts. And he says, sit down. Instead, I don't drink tea. So he gives him a beer. He's like, your brother, my job is to fight mystical threats. Your brother Loki is one of them. Now, what are you here for? We're here to find Odin. And he tells him that Odin is in Norway, that him and Jane Foster have also broken up. And Thor's like, we just want to find Odin, and then me and my brother will leave. You're probably leave Earth? Yes, we will. That's the plan. Norway. I guess Norway is kind of like heaven, I guess. That Odin has not to be disturbed. Nevertheless, he sends Thor and Loki. Well, Loki comes back. Loki's like, I've been following 30 minutes. Oh, you wizard. You and Loki's about to attack him. I was like, goodbye. He uses, his magic to get him away. But that was cool. See Doctor Strange, the Benedict Cumberbatch in here. And it's just a cameo. More of a 15th. I do like it, though, when he's kind of looking up books and Thor's like, stop that. Yeah. Loki, they said, Father, you ready to go home? But Odin's not ready to go. Odin's grown really old and about time for him to pass away, to die. He's dying, and he's like, I'm proud of you, my sons, with John. He goes, look, yeah, I was able to get your spell. You did real good, though. Frida would have been proud. Frida was played by Rena Russo. That was Thor and Loki's mother. And she was killed in Thor the Dark World. Spoiler alert. By the villain in that movie. But anyway. And he tells them, Odin makes a confession that Ella, Ella's their sister, that she fought with him before, Thor was born. And when Thor was, that they fought wars together, but Ella became greedy and wanted to cause more damage, more wars, and she became too evil, so Odin had her chained up, tied up, banished. She's the goddess of death. So he passes away. He goes like in a cloud of dust, and she will grow stronger. Odin lets his sons know that he does love them, and he dies, which was sad to see him die. And Thor's mad. Thor's like, "You did this, brother," and they're about ready to fight. But then Hela shows up. He's like, "So he died, huh?" He's like, "I'm Thor, son of Odin." Oh, really? Well, I'm Hela, the goddess of death. And he's like, "Kneel before me, kneel before your queen." And Loki's like, "Excuse me?" And they're about ready to fight her. Thor throws the hammer, but while like Helga's a villain, that she does have a dark sense of humor, but she is crazy and she is the goddess of death. But she catches Thor's hammer. She's like, "Nice try, honey," and breaks his. I'm like, I was like, wow. It was kind of like an epic moment when Winter Soldier caught Captain America's shield. So it was awesome to see them go up against a powerful villain. I don't know how people feel about the Helga character, but I thought Kate Blanchett did a really good job. She can play a villain really good, in my opinion. Yeah. Loki panic calls for the Bifrost, but Thor's like, no, don't do it, because Hela gets into them, and Hela, is able to not Loki up, not Loki off the Bifrost, and her and Thor fight, and she was able to push Thor away, and she meets Barbara in Finland, waiting inside the first, and like, who are you? I'm Hela, goes death, and Hela like stabs them real quick. Think about Hela, you know, she's got like this hair, where she can just push it back. She's ready for a fight. It's like spikes that come out of her hair. And you see her spikes here, and she's the one that's very quick fighting, can kill you very easily. Carl Urban, she's like, well, you could be more. For example, she says maybe have him like her as an executioner, make him her executioner. Thor gets to a name planet called and a jet car, Cigar. He sees these portals, and these scavengers coming to him, saying, "Are you food or fight?" He's like, Thor does fight them, even though he doesn't have his hammer. He tries to call it, and he's like, my hammer was destroyed, so he fights these guys, but they shoot him down and rescue him. These scavengers can, he fights them. They're almost ready to capture him or eat him, but this giant woman appears, Valkyrie. She's like, he's mine. Let me get ready to fight. So she's like, walks off the plane and falls. Like, oh, wait, hold on a second. She's drunk. Valkyrie then uses her weapons like guns on the cannons so that she can try and shoot them down. Yeah, Thor thanks her, but she shoots over like this pipe. Well, a small disc on his neck, and she shocks him. Thor's like, you know, she flies Thor. Thor's like, "Who are you? I am Thor, son of Odin." He's like, "Ooh, who, your majesty?" Shocks him again, and she takes Thor into her ship. Then back on Asgard, the Asgardians are led by Hogan. They try to stop. Well, Ella tells them who she is, that she's their rule, be their queen, but they don't listen. He's like, "You would do you not just hear what I said?" She's like, "Oh, fine," and then just puts her hair back into her spikes, and Hella kills them like a badass. And I guess Hogan is one of Thor's friends, and he's like, "Go back, which the hell where you came from," and she stabs him and kills him. And she's like, "Oh, all these are fake." She tells him about the history, and she's like, she sees a picture of Thor and Loki, but you see that in her past that her and that she was the one that had the hammer that was worthy of it. Yeah, she reveals that she had always been Odin's most powerful weapon to create the mighty Asgardian empire. The only when her ambition outgrew did he imprison her. Well, that's because she went mad and probably started viciously killing, you know, and this Infinity Gauntlet, which is fake. The Casket of Ancient Winters, which is fake. She likes the Eternal Flame. She smashes through the floor. She's like, here's real power. She awakens her undead army along with this giant. It's a CGI wolf, but she wakes up her wolf pet as well. Heimdall is running from the people. Heimdall also, because she wants to get into the Bifrost to get out of the Afghanistan war. But Heimdall, played by Idris Elba, steals it, and him and the people are on the run. And she, but meanwhile, well, she also makes serves her executioner. He's like, well, executioner, do a lot more than that. Just kill. Well, they kill, yes, but they do a lot more than that. Yeah, it's a resistance led by Heimdall that are running. Then Thor awakens to his holograph presentation, which is music from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory a little bit. It's like, no. So it's like, ah, no. Then meet the Grandmaster played by Jeff Goldblum. I like Jeff Goldblum. I thought he was good. Like, how you doing? Oh, Thor of Thunder, Lord of Thunder, you say. Oh, he's threatening me. I can't do Jeff Goldblum. Can't even act like him. But he's funny in this movie. And, the great champion, the weird champion, which is the Hulk, by the way. He pays the Trump woman, Valkyrie, depends, he's like, I'm the mighty Thor, and he said the electric that comes out of his hands, or seriously coming out of his hands. He says that Thor, you'll earn your freedom if he wins. Thor ends up discovering Loki, who is mingling along with the Grandmaster and his company quite well. And he's like, if you know each other, like, no, I never seen this man before in my life. And Loki, so I guess Loki's, so I guess it's been a couple of weeks since Elena took over. Thor gets onto the Gladiators' headquarters, where he meets Gorg and Exile Gorgon, and Loki just told him, maybe you and I could try to become friends with Grandmaster, and then me and you take over. But Thor storms over him was like, your our father's dead because of you, because you trapped him, you took over Odin, you did other stuff, Loki. I don't trust you at all. Loki's more like an anti-hero in this movie. He's not the real villain, but he's anti-hero, which means you can really trust him because he's the god of mischief. But Loki's not really there. He's throwing these rocks at him, but can't hurt him. Thor talks to Valkyrie, finding that she was about Valkyries were these women that warriors that were like angels. They protected Asgardian, from enemies, and they fought Helena. But Helena killed all her sisters, and because of that, Valkyrie she refuses to fight, became a scavenger. She just quit being a Valkyrie and just drunk a lot to get over the pain, and captures people for money. Captures people from different worlds, bring them to the Grandmaster for a fight just for money. Florg is like this big rock character that explains him that no one's ever won, be the champion. He chooses a weapon, but he's forced to go out and fight because these people. They say, "Come on!" And this is where you see Stanley. Stanley's like, "Kid won't cut your hair." He's like, "But I'm Thor, so and you will not touch my, will not cut my hair." And Stanley's like, turns it up. Relay Stanley, which is awesome to see a cameo. And he's like, "No, please don't do it." You need to cut his hair, and that's when you get, Thor's hair like this, hair like this in the movie, which is funny. He sees Hulk, he's like, "Yeah, we're friends. We know each other. We're adventurers." And Loki's like, Loki's like scared, and him and Hulk fight. He's like, "Thor don't fight." He tries to calm Hulk down. He's like, "Oh, the sun's going down, big guy." He's like, "Oh, forget it," and they fight, which is a pretty awesome fight. It is cool to see Thor and Thor and the Hulk have a showdown again. And he talks to Thor like the way he talked to Loki in the first movie, and Loki's like, "Hey, tell you deserve it." And it was an awesome fight until Thor gets real mad, and it was when Thor was on top of him, beating him, punching him in the face, and his electricity powers come out. It comes out of his body, and he just starts beating up on him until he comes up more, until Grandmaster pushes this button, just that has like electricity button on Thor, the disc, and he pushes that button past him out, and Hulk just punches him. And Thor gets awakened in Electra's quarters, and he's like, "Hulk, where's Banner?" And you realize that he's been Hulk for 2 years. Banner has not. After Avengers of Ultron, if you remember, Hulk went into the ship. You know, yeah. Hulk believes that he's hated on Earth because the way he is, and because Hulk is always angry. Hulk's like taking a bath or whatever. He gives his butt. I'm like, okay. It was funny though. Like that. He's like, there's the ship. It's been there for 2 years, and because after Avengers of Ultron, after the events of that, the Hulk ended up there, and so Hulk has become their champion. And Hulk has even gotten a personality talking and stuff, which is fine. It's not in the goofy way with Endgame. This is actually Hulk talking, and I like that. That Hulk begins to have a personality and start talking and stuff. Hulk's like, Hulk smash Peanut guy, and then him and Thor get mad at each other. Before that, though, Thor has a vision of talking to Heimdall, tells him what happened and what's happening with Asgardian, and Thor realizes that he needs to get back to Asgardian and stop Hela for good. And he tries to We get Hulk rep. He's like, well, I don't like Banner, puny Banner. I like you, Hulk. Hulk, you're the coolest. He's like, and they get mad at each other. He's like, you're the weakest of Banner. He's like, we're the tiny fish. They're like, don't throw things. And they fight a bit. He's like, yeah, Hulk is like fire. Thor's like water. No, Hulk is fire. Hulk is stronger. And Valkyrie comes in. The Hulk listens, and Hulk's like, please stay. Because Thor can't walk out. Thor tries to walk out, and Hulk's like, ha ha ha, you try to walk out. Didn't happen. They talk to Valkyrie, and she says she'll never go through that. She tells him what happened with the sisters, and that she won't do it ever again. Thor's like, you meet this ball, he just throw out the window, he comes back, hits him in the head. He's like, well, I'm not going. He jumps out the window, tries to get to the ship. He's like, the mighty Avenger, he can't. He's like, damn, you suck. Until Hulk breaks in, he's like, Hulk, calm down, and he sees that picture of Black Widow, that footage, that archive footage of Black Widow, calms him down. Yeah. And Bruce is like, Bruce, and we see transforms back to Bruce Banner's like, Thor? Thor? What about Sokovia? Ultra's like, 2 years ago, we beat him. 2 years of been Hulk, and wow. And he's just very stressed out, and he's able to use it, but they can't. The ship's not working. They have, they have to go in disguise. And he's just on the down like, what's saying that? And they're talking. He's like, I'm under a lot of stress. If I don't come back, Hulk, you know, Hulk would just be here for good. No more Banner. Yeah, and he's able to remove that disc from his neck. And since they're hiding, the Grandmaster sends out some people after them. And as they're hiding, he's like, I want to hear about Hulk again. Then he gets some green powder thrown in his face, and like, Hulk, Hulk. And he's like, oh. And he's like, I've been doing this for years. And he's getting mad. His face turns red, like, calm down, calm down. And he tells Banner, I like you more, Banner. You. Is that really? Thanks, Bruce says. Marvel says. I was like, yeah. But does he have like 7 bachelor degrees or something like that? And chemist or whatever? Or scientist? No, that's me. But when Hulk's for fighting, we need Hulk. But Grandmaster orders Valkyrie and Loki to track them down. Yeah, she fights with Loki a bit. Loki sees the vision of her past, her fight with Hela. She knocks him out, ties him up. Yeah, and why Thor's hiding, she's like, I can recognize your face. Like, not if I do this, cover it up. But because I feel like I know you, right? I know you, right? But she doesn't know that Banner is Hulk, of course. But Banner sees, he's like, Loki's like, hello, Bruce. Last time I saw you, you were in New York trying to kill people. Well, lots have changed then. And he says, we can't trust him. We can't, this is Loki we're talking about, try to kill everybody in New York. He even try to be a snake and, a snake and pop out, scare me. And Loki's laughing. But they fear that he knows security codes, that he's got his trust enough. They have to go through the largest portal, which is called the Devil's Anus. Yes, literally, the Devil's Anus. They break Korg and Mig out, the slave result, so they steal the Grandmaster's personal ship, which is more like a pleasure cruise for an orgy. But now, Scourge has civilians round up to the main location of the sword. Helena orders to kill somebody, and even though he hesitates, someone shouts that he knows it. Loki and Thor was like, they fight some guys with the machine guns, and that was cool. There's like, hello there, hello, and they start shooting, which is pretty cool. And Thor and Loki are talking they're in this elevator, and he's like, Laura, I thought the world of you, Loki. I really care for you because you're my brother. But you did what you did, and things changed. Our paths went different ways. And of course, when they get to the ship, when Loki pretends to be dead, Thor throws him to him, knocking the guys out. Of course, Thor betrays him, and Loki's like, "Oh, brother, I'm getting out of here. You're getting stuck here." Well, basically, he's gonna give him to the Grandmaster for this money. You know, but Thor put the small disc on his back, and he's like, you know, let's use Loki. But Kroger arrives with a group of slaves. They turn off the device later, and Loki takes leadership of the group, and they steal Lord's ship. Thor, Valkyrie, and Banner arrive on they steal the ship with him at the orgy, and Thor and Valkyrie are able to fight some of the guys off. Yeah, get away from the Grand, escape the Grandmaster, and when they arrive there, Valkyrie does put on her suit. Heimdall's hiding in the escort and civilians. Thor calls her back to the throne room. Fight. He's like, sister, I wouldn't mind somebody else running the throne, but you're just not good. You're just too evil. He's like, Father said, a wise king never sees a work, but he must be ready for it. So her and Thor fight, or Valkyrie fights, and of course, Banner knowing that this giant wolf is gonna kill people, how he depends on this, but Hulk eventually comes out, and which is a cool moment. Probably like the last Hulk fight you've seen, because the way they make Hulk now, talking and stuff, I hate that. I hate what they do with Hulk after this, though. In Infinity War and Endgame, they just made him a joke. I freaking hate what they did with him. But he fights the wolf, which is a cool fight. It does bite into Hulk's stomach. The creature does, but Hulk is able to knock the wolf out into the Asgardian waterfall. But it was a good fight. I wish it was a bit longer fight, but still, it was good. It was cool to see Hulk smash. Hulk fights it. Thor's doing pretty decently. She getting a few. She's like, oh, like you're blind as the eye, brother, and she hits a knife, her sword, and stabs his eye out, Thor's eye out. And she makes him see, you're weak, brother, your company's losing. And Loki arrives, she's mad, she stabs him. Yeah. And Thor sees a vision of his father as he's about to like die. He's like, tell me, brother, I'm the god of death. What are you? Tell me, brother, what were you the god of? And oh, he sees Odin in this vision. Loki bows to his father. I mean, Thor sees him in this vision. In Norway, Odin tells his son that Asgard's not a place. That is the people. That is what I'm saying. Asgard's not a place. It's the people. It's who we are. Yeah. And they're people. He's like, your hammer. That hammer was to control your power. The power is within you, Thor. And Thor realizes that, and so he gets electric powers out of his body. And after Helena puts up a fight, and got the awesome, Thor fights them, which is really cool. We see in the trailer. It was an awesome scene. Yeah. And Helena comes to fight, so they fight her again. He's like, no, son, you can be better than me. Which I like that moment. Kurt decides to, stop doing what he's doing. But Scourge is like, for Asgard. He's got the machine guns, which is an awesome moment. He's like, hello, and he kills an army, but Hela, like, throws a knife at him, stabs and kills Karl Urban's character, dies. He realizes she's too much for him, that Elena won't stop, that she'll grow more powerful. Prophecy says that in order for Ragnarok to happen, Asgard must fall, and it's about their place to ensure it and not to stop it. Thor and Valkyrie fight her off. Loki goes to the trophy room to retrieve. He does see the Tesseract and guard along the way, grabs it. I assume because we do see it in Avengers Beginning of Infinity War. Spoiler alert. But Loki places the crown in the eternal flames of Asgard. This is like, he'll be reborn, and Surtur is reborn, from the beginning. He's like, Asgard, I will destroy you. He's like, so I was like, no, I can't defeat you. but he can kill you. And that's when he emerges. So Thor emerges, crushes them. She's like, "What?" And Elle's distracted enough they're able to push her into the water. And then, funny enough, Hulk attacks him, which is funny. He's like, "Hulk, bad Hulk, Hulk, fortune in life, don't smash." But monster, that lit him. Thor manages to call him off, and Hulk gradually gives up on the fight and carries Thor and Valkyrie aboard the ship. Hela suddenly emerges from the water and begins to impel Thor to the fights, but she's killed. He plunges through straight into Asgard's core, killing her and destroying Asgard. Asgard just still exists, and Thor's wearing like an eye patch, and Thor's like, looks like, I see you. He throws, so looks like I'm still here, and they have a good brotherly moment. And I like it when he sits on Thor's like, my people. And with Valkyrie, Loki, even Loki respected him as the king, and Loki having changed heart, and his friends Gord, and of course Hulk himself, and them just going off to find somewhere to live. But that guy's not a place; it's the people. And Thor becomes the king of Asgard. And then the movie ends there. And then you get a post-credit scene where Loki asks Thor whether he will become after they battle New York, and Thor assumes that he will be. But as they talk about Bobby welcome to Earth, But it seems that Loki, not an entire Loki, actually became a hero and helped save the people of Asgard, so becomes a hero. But then this big ship appears, and this big ship that confronts them that they see, that's right in front of their face, that is the ship of Thanos. And if you've seen Infinity War, we'll get to that when we get to Infinity War, though. But for now, not well. We'll get to that in Infinity War. But then there's another where Grandmaster is faced down with the slaves he approves the Phantom Master. He tries to declare them. He's like, "Pass on the back. We've escaped it. They're probably going to torture him or something. I'm betting, but it's nice to see Chip of them at the end, and that's the end of Thor Ragnarok. Yeah, yep. Now let me read some quotes probably from the movie really quick. Dear brother, you're becoming predictable. I trust you. You've me round and round circles we go. See, Loki, sprouts growth is about change, but you seem what to stay home. I guess I'm trying to say that is you'll always be the god of mischief. I am Hela, Odin's firstborn, commander of the legions of Asgard, the birth heir to the throne of the gods of death. My father is dead. Already the princess, you're welcome. To be honest, I expected more. Here's the difference between us. I'm Odin's firstborn, the rightful heir, and you're nothing. Now you remind me of Dad when she cuts off Thor's eye. Does no one remember me? Has no one ever been taught our history? Look at these lies. Garden parties, peace treaties. Oh, proud to have that. A shame how we got it. We're unstoppable. I was in the weapon. Last words for Odin. Remember this place home. And I know what you're thinking. Oh no, Thor's in the cage. How did this happen? Sometimes you have to get captured just to get a straight answer or something. So long story, basically, I'm a bit of a hero. Some say I've been on Earth, fought with some robots, saved the planet a couple of times. Then I went searching through the cosmos for some magic Infinity Stone things. Didn't find any. There's when I came across Path of Death and Destruction. So tell me where in this cage where I met you. How much longer do you think we'll be in there? Thor, son of a bitch. You're still alive. I thought your father killed nearly half a billion years ago. Cannot die, not until I fulfill my destiny. I lay waste to your home. It's funny you should mention that, because I've been waiting these terrible dreams of last fate. Asgard flames falling in ruins, and you, Sotar, the center of all of them. Yeah, but some good dialogue in there. But I'm not going to sit here since we're on 1 hour for me. Yeah. Anyway, let me get my final opinion on Thor Ragnarok, and then I'll be done. Because I've had a bit of a long day, had to do some things. But I wanted to do a review today, and I wanted to review this. So anyway, I love Thor Ragnarok. This is my favorite Thor movie. I like the story. I thought the story was pretty good. I love how it does Ragnarok. I love Thor, being on another planet. I love, how they introduced the villain Helga. I thought the story was pretty good. I like the lighter tone of it. Some people don't. I get it's for not some people, but I think they changed the tone for the better because the first two movies were dark. and a bit more serious, and this jumps into humor. Now, this does have some serious moments, like when the Asgardians see Asgard being blown up, their home destroyed. That was a sad thing to see. And this movie does have some serious moments in it, but it does have its quite a lot of comedy. It's not a comedy like every 5 seconds, where in Thor: Love and Thunder, it's stupid comedy thrown in your face every 5 minutes. Every 5 seconds is comedy, comedy. But this one, the comedy is settled here. It's good writing, and it's funny, and it's hilarious, in my opinion. And I did enjoy the comedy in this film. I thought Taki Wadi, I can't say his name right, but it was freak his name was. The director of the film, I thought he did a good job directing. Chris Hemsworth once again as Thor, he does a great job. Tessa Thompson, oh, beautiful, and her character was a badass. Mario come back as Hulk, he was great. This was sadly the last movie where we saw Hulk be Hulk before, he's the talking nerd Hulk, which I hate. But I also love the poster for this movie. Poster's really good too. Helga's a great villain. She's evil. She's dark sense of humor. She's a badass villain, and she's a threat. She's the goddess of death. I mean, she kills an entire army of Asgardians, just wipes them out like that. She could take a beating or a stab, you know. And she's probably one of the most best villains of the MCU. She's one of the best villains of the MCU, in my opinion. Yeah. And I thought Jeff Goldblum. I like Jeff Goldblum. I thought he was great. Carl Urban. Well, anyway, Idris Elba was good, and Anthony Hopkins for his short time in the movie was good. And even though Benedict Cumberbatch, he's like maybe 10 minutes of screen time at least, he's still good in here for what he has to do. It was nice to see Doctor Strange in here to expand his character. His cinematography was nice. I love the visual effects in this movie. The visual effects look beautiful in this film. I'm not kidding. Look really good. Yeah, the action sequences were good. The score is really good too, I think. Probably the best score ever in a Thor movie. The score is really good. Not completely memorable, but it's good. The humor is good as well. And I can see why critics be the best installment. I agree. This is probably my opinion, is the best installment. But sometimes my issues with the movie that sometimes the humor doesn't always land. Not every time. And I do wish Jeff Goldman had a bit more screen time in the movie. I enjoyed his performance, but I do think he deserved a bit more screen time. You know, Carl Urban's character, Carl Urban did a good job in the movie, but his character for me is just one dimensional. Like, is he a good guy? Then he's supposed to be a bad guy. Then goes to be a good guy again, which it was awesome. It was good to see him use that machine gun. It was badass and stuff, but still, his character is just one side dimensional. Like, which was confusing to me. Are you good or bad? I just felt like they didn't do much with his character. That he was almost like forced to be a villain. Yeah, and I do wish the Hulk's fight. I wish we did see Hulk a little more in the movie. Fighting in action and stuff. That'd have been more cool. I'm talking about with Helena's, big pet giant werewolf. That would have been cool to see more of a fight. The fight in the water was decent, but I want to see more of a big epic fight. It'd be cool to see Hulk smashing some of the Ellen's undead army, or him fighting with Helena herself. That would have been cool to see Hulk more in action. That's what I wanted, you know. And does the humor always land? No, but it is funny. The humor does work. I like the lighter tone of the movie. That they do take inspiration from Guardians of the Galaxy, which is fine. They want to bring humor, but Thor: Love and Thunder, the issue with that for me is that the jokes didn't always land, and then it tries to go back, being a bit darker. Yeah, at least this movie, in my opinion, it is consistent with the tone. It is a lighter tone of a movie. There are some moments that are serious, though. It's not a full comedy 5 seconds. It knows what it is. It's a lighter tone of a film, which I like about it, that they want to try something different. But with Thor: Love and Thunder, they don't balance it right with the tone. Tone was everywhere. That movie's trying to be funny, a comedy, then it's trying to be dark and serious, and I'm like, you're trying to be both things, and it fails completely at those things. Christian Bale is great, but Helga's a better villainess. I'm not saying Christian Bale was terrible, as you know, I forget his character name, but he was like Gore the Butcher, I think. He just didn't get enough screen time, and the film's trying to be dark, and it's just confusing. But this movie, it is consistent with its tone. It does go by a good pace, though. I thought it's very entertaining. The humor is very funny in a lot of scenes. It doesn't feel forced. I did miss Hulk and Thor: Love and Thunder. It was nice seeing Jane Foster again. That was the best thing about Thor: Love and Thunder. But despite that, that movie still sucked. You know, for me, this is like the Superman 3 Batman Forever of the franchise. By even though I like Batman and Robin, but that was let down. But I would say for me, Thor: Love and Thunder was like Superman 4, the Christopher piece of the franchise. Yes, I did not care for Love and Thunder, but you will see my thoughts in the 2020s era of superheroes. We're not to Thor: Love and Thunder yet, but we'll get there. We'll get to that tunnel eventually. But anyway, guys, that's my opinion on Thor Ragnarok. Thank God the video didn't shut down. But anyway, guys, I love Thor: Love. This is the most fun. Yeah, I agree. And I would say this is the best Thor yet, in my opinion. Yeah, this is probably the best one of the franchise because I think it's the most one that's entertaining. It's fun to watch. Having Thor be serious and darker just doesn't work for me. Thor: Dark World was a bit of a dark movie, and I'm glad they went with a lighter tone. Yeah, I like that, and it is very entertaining. It's fun to watch. It's funny. I enjoy the performances by everybody in here. Thor was good. I just think his character's one dimensional. Like I said, a little more action with the Hulk would be nice. You know, and I think Jeff Goldblum needed a little more screen time in the movie. I get it; they got stuff going on in the movie. They're trying to balance it. Or we could have had more scenes on the planet. A bit more of an epic fight, maybe. A little more to see. It was cool to see Thor and Hawk fight, but maybe it would have cool with them trying to escape. Like with a battle. That would have been interesting to watch, and also some action scene as well. But the humor works. It's a lighter tone movie. It is pretty much like a comedy, but it works. It's not a comedy every 5 seconds. It does have serious moments, like with Odin dying. And it makes you cry to see it. See, and that's a sad moment. Or see when the Asgardians they're seeing their home destroyed, and that's very emotional to see your home being destroyed. But realizing that at the end of the day, that Thor realized that Asgardian is not just a place; it's a people. That he has to care for the people. That he's a good hero because that's what good guys do. They care for one another, care for people. And it's cool to see Loki redeemed. Yeah, and Loki in action. Tom Hiddleston. Yeah, Chris Hemsworth. Good cast. Really love this movie, despite those issues I have with it though. So I'm gonna get right Thor Ragnarok. I'm gonna give this film. I'm gonna give it a thumbs up. And my rating for Thor Ragnarok is 4 out of 5 stars, and a thumbs up for Thor Ragnarok. It's definitely like the Superman 3, Batman Forever of the Thor franchise, if you want to call it that. These so much of these films, just in my opinion. But I enjoy Thor Ragnarok. Good movie in my opinion. Another third movie I really enjoyed that I would say is a bit underrated too. I always thought this one was underrated. But guys, I love this movie. Again, my rating for Thor Ragnarok is 4 out of 5 stars and a thumbs up. So tell me in the comments down below. Tell me in the comments down below, guys. If you've seen Thor Ragnarok, if you don't like it, that's fine. We can agree to disagree. I know some people are mixed on this film, and that's fine. I've heard mixed opinions on this movie. And if you don't like it, that's fine. We agree to disagree. We agree to disagree. To each his own, but I love the film, and I'm not sorry for that. But tell me, guys, in the comments down below, what do you think of Thor Ragnarok in your opinion? Yeah, stay tuned. Maybe tomorrow, maybe I'll do this review. I had a job interview today, and I'll be getting a job pretty soon, working a little more hours. But I think they told me like 4 days. I gotta fill out some paperwork. But anyway, it's like 4 days. But I will probably get like 3 days off, so maybe I'll get to do some reviews every now and then. Yeah, I'm not quitting, guys. But next, I'm gonna be reviewing the 2017 superhero film, the fifth film in the DCU, and that's starring Ben Affleck, Jason Momoa, Gal Gadot, Henry Cavill, Ezra Miller, and whatever the hell that is named that play. Yeah, J.K. Simmons, Amy Adams, Ray Fisher, and that is Justice League, the live action film. Yes, I don't know how I feel about this movie, but Justice League will be next. This will be my last 2017 review, so stay tuned for my review as I bring some justice next time. So Justice League will be next. So stay tuned for that, guys. Thanks for watching, and tell me your opinion on Thor Ragnarok. What do you think of Chris Hemsworth as Thor, and what do you think of Tom Hiddleston as Loki? And who's your favorite villain of these movies? Mine is Helga. And what do you think of this movie in your opinion? How would you rank the Thor movies, all four of them, including Thor: Love and Thunder? How would you rank them from best to worst? And what is your favorite Thor movie? This is my favorite. What's yours? And my rating for the film gets 4 out of 5 stars and a thumbs up. And stay tuned for the next review, which will be the last 2017 superhero review. But then we'll get into the year 2018. That will be starting with, I'm sorry, 2018, starting with Black Panther. So I'll be going in between Marvel and DC every now and then. But Black Panther, this will be the first 2018 superhero review that I'll do. But anyway, that'll be after Justice League. But Justice League is next, so stay tuned for this. Justice League is next. So stay tuned for this. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching. Bye.